Yeah, so this is any question, I guess,
Yep.
pertaining to okay.
Pertaining to
I guess
anything, anything.
okay. So I guess I'll be the brave one or the guinea pig, whatever you want to say. Um so yeah, so for me, so I'm a full-time agent and I only have one, I guess, buyer agent on my team who's really, she has a part, I don't know, 60% job, I guess, 3 out of the 5 days. She works as a, I don't know, radiologist or something like that. And she has rentals and her husband does well. So she's not motivated or anything, right? And she does her own deals, right? And then I also have a VA, and I don't know what things to give her to get my productivity other than like that most likely and likely to sell algorithm and call or text them, and then she hands me over if they engage via the initial scripts.
Okay.
But the question would be like, okay, one, well, there's a lot of questions really. To grow in general and to produce business and all that, and maybe I'll work backwards, right? Where I think I want to have a team, but then I'm also a perfectionist and a control freak where I don't know if that's actually a good thing. Should I not envision that? Because maybe I should only have a max of like 3 people more on my team or 4 for me to actually feel like I'm doing a good job for them and maybe providing leads and show them how to produce business on their own, of course. And
Mhm.
also, what can I do to have that VA really work efficiently in the 4 hours a day that she works? I pay her $3 an hour, but she's been happy. And what I should do with her, and then also, with the buyer agent, I guess it is what it is. But do I also want to maybe put something out there to attract somebody else? But then I feel like I don't have all my systems in place. Yeah, I have Follow Up Boss and Google pay per clicks and Facebook ads, and
Mhm.
it's just kind of slow in general. Anyway, that's a lot I just said, but I just want to put it all out there so you kind of see where my mind's kind of going.
Yeah, yeah, you're going left, right, sideways, upside down. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. Crazy here today. Okay, so all right, so good questions, and and that's good to have that much information. So why do you want to have a team? Like what are your goals? Why do you want to have a team?
Well, the thing is, it's like leverage, right? And having people do, stuff that when I'm out of town or just, you know, and it have an impact on them as well and have that cohesiveness and be more of a brand everywhere, not just, my sphere of influence and neighborhood and farm and such.
Okay.
And of course, also make more money because I'm getting a certain percentage. But that's kind of because I went to Greece for like 19 days, right? And yeah, I had some deals going on there,
Yeah.
but it was just like I couldn't detach,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes.
Um,
Okay.
so
How
yeah.
much do you sell? How many units do you sell in a year?
I mean, last year it was like 26 units,
Okay.
and I guess the average price point was a little under
Okay.
600.
Okay. So
Um,
you're at the point where you're trying to expand but not kill yourself
Correct.
a little bit.
Right. Yes. I try to
Okay.
like streamline it somehow to really have efficiency. But what made me, I guess, successful so far is being that one-stop shop, being hands-on, going above and beyond on my service and what I do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, oh, how do I keep that brand or acknowledgement or people know that about me, but expand,
Yeah.
right?
So it's completely doable, but here's the thing. When you explain to me what you're having everybody do and you're not exactly sure what to have them do, if we don't have clarity in the thing that we want someone else to be doing, if we don't have, like, you already identified the systems and processes, but it's also the clarity. And having that clarity, then we can be able to have an expectation for someone else that you want to have to come onto your team. And at that point, you also know, are they meeting the expectation? Are they the right fit? Are they going to carry your brand? Are they going to be a good, proponent for your brand out there? So the first step for you would be to find clarity in number one. This is what I did when so I went to 120 houses in a year before I hired an assistant. And one of the reasons I waited so long, I did that for, gosh, 5 years. I was 90, 120 units, 100 units, like, and then I was exhausted. Like, I literally had exhausted myself. And
Right.
part of my problem was I hadn't been able to identify what I could let go of And because, like you said, you're a perfectionist, you do stellar work. That's why you have clients. That's why you sold 27 houses this year, right? In a year when a lot of people struggled, because you do provide great service. And so stopping for a moment to identify, and for me, I did this as I was doing transactions. I would go, okay, what do I really need to do? And what could I have someone else do? And then I started to make two separate categories. And then once I had that separate category, then it was easier to be like, okay, then I can hire this person because this is the category of things I'm going to expect them to take care of. And here's the level at which I want you to take care of these things. And then are they congruent with that? And if they are, then they're the right person for your team. But if they're not,
Yeah.
then they're not the right person for your team. And that doesn't
Some,
mean you give up on a team. It means you find the right person.
so it gives me a little perspective when you say you did like 120 and then you did an assistant, right? So for me, maybe I say, okay, I want to do 52, like one a week,
Mhm.
right? Which is less than half of what you do
Mhm.
or did. And then maybe find an assistant at that point, right? So maybe that's the clarity or vision I should give you, right? Because that'll probably be easier for me to
Could be.
feel more comfortable in and not have to like feel like I'm pushing someone or coach someone. And, I'd rather focus on me because, yeah, I have that strong will, I have that strong mindset and work ethic and all that to where I think it'll be easier to streamline myself first and
Mhm.
get to that 52 weeks, closings a year,
Yeah.
which is like, again, less than half of you. So I'm assuming it's manageable, right? And then, okay, work on it. Either stay with that and then get an assistant and then maybe do a TCs on certain transactions or here and there. But yeah, I think that's my clarity since you just brought up that point.
Good. That's awesome that you came to that. That's amazing. Yeah. And it sounds different for everyone. Really, everyone's got a different capacity. But I do believe that one of the reasons I could handle, so I'm going to give you two more just pieces of thought here. One of the reasons why I could handle 120 houses wasn't because I was like solo working by myself. When I talk about team, and I claimed it my dream team, but my dream team is my lender. My dream team is my photographer. My dream team is my inspector. So really, if someone calls me, my dream team is my title company, right? Because if somebody
Mm,
calls me and says, I'm interested in selling my house, I go, great. I get the information. I use my planner, which is what helped me keep myself straight. And I would write down inside there the listing information. And then I would right away send an email off to my title company and say, hey, send me the information. We call it a property profile report in our state. And I would ask for that information. That cut out me trying to go dig for the information. Now, could I go dig for it? And do some people dig for it? Sure. But I didn't, right? I had a good rapport with my title company. They have great customer service. I asked them for the information. Then I just get it straight to my email. Then I can move on my process. And that literally allows me to go like bam, bam, bam. Like I have this 4-step listing process where I could list 7 houses in a week. And yes, we were busy, but everyone has a job and everyone executes with excellence in that job.
yeah,
And
I think that's my wife brought up to me. It's like, well, I'm like, you're good about just getting stuff done, but you're just getting stuff done because it's urgency. You need to be more organized and actually write down your SOPs
yeah.
and also put that out to your clients, the SOP, so they know what to expect.
Mhm.
Because yes, I send an email out. Here's the next steps. Oh, this week this is coming up. Yeah, send that out. But if I had like maybe like a template where
Mhm.
I just copy and paste, change the name and address,
Yeah.
that'd be good. Or have that SOP up front. Of course, would be. And like you said, my dream team, like I have my window washers, my stagers, my deep cleaners, my title company, and I'm actually a licensed lender myself. But
Yeah.
that's recent, January, where I don't actually do the lending, but I'm sponsored by a company that does the lending, and we work out a deal where I get certain from that. But that's kind of like you said, the dream team, and
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah. So get yourself into a place where you're very organized, what your organization looks like to you. And then you can start to identify what you can be able to pass off at the time when you're ready. That's
Yeah, that's gonna be, and that's the thing. Like, for me to actually sit down and be disciplined about writing everything out and put it into some type of,
and
whether it's Canva or Excel, or because I'm
dude,
a former
grab
I'm
a
a former
freaking
NASA engineer, so I'm so
oh,
analytical,
okay.
you
I was
know.
like, just grab a piece of paper and just write down what you actually do when you do a process. Like, don't make a spreadsheet. You don't have to get all complicated in a Canva pretty
Yeah.
document. And like, I don't do that either. My brain resists that actually. But
Okay.
just write down your process. Like, just
Maybe
write,
I could write it down and take a picture, send it to my VA, and then she can beautify it into
let
a
her make
Canva.
it look pretty. Heck yeah.
Yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
don't spend all the time doing that. Just literally like write down the process. And if you give yourself, honestly, put your phone on sleep mode and give yourself 15 to 30 minutes of quiet time to be able to do that. Uninterrupted quiet time, you're going to be able to knock it out because you know what the process is. You've done it enough times, right? And it doesn't have to be every minute detail. You'll add to it, but just write down your process. And I mean, that's what I teach inside my academy is what my process is. Everyone's process is slightly different, but you can't increase volume if we're complicating the process. Right. And then that's why when people come and they say, I sell 12 houses and I just have no idea how I would sell more than that. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do with my life if I was selling 12 houses because I increased my capacity. Right. So
Right.
as I increase my capacity, I learned to refine the process. And that's what I teach is that refined part of the process. I didn't show up with the refined process. I showed up with a hot mess and I figured it out. But yeah, good
So
question.
I guess I'm in between. I'm not a hot mess,
You're the messy
but
middle. Yeah,
you
you're
know,
yeah. Yeah, you're
anyway,
in
sorry.
the growth
Uh,
stages. No, that's a
yeah,
great question. And I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people.
okay,
So
I'll hog your time. Someone else raised their hand, I think.
thank you. Thanks for the
But
question, Juan. I hope that got
thanks.
you some good clarity. Oh, and good to see your face. I like that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, Maggie is raising her hand. Go ahead and
Can you
unmute,
hear me?
Maggie. Yes, I can.
Okay, well, I have a dilemma.
Okay.
It's my broker has throat cancer
Okay.
and he's going through a medical crisis, but he's trying to work through it. I'm needing to leave that brokerage and just go to a slightly larger one that's in a better area for me.
Okay.
But I am struggling with leaving at a time where he's in the middle of a health crisis and trying to keep it all together.
Okay. Why are you struggling?
I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want him to feel discouraged.
Okay. And you believe so this is thought work. Okay. So I'm going to poke at you just a little bit if you've listened to my calls before. So your thought about leaving your brokerage is that it's going to make your broker discouraged.
Yes.
Okay. And is that fact? Or is that a really good story that you've created?
I have no idea.
The story. Yeah. So here's the thing about other people's emotions, you guys, other people's feelings. We don't get to decide how they feel. They get to decide how they feel. And that's actually a really powerful thing. That's my favorite thing that I learned when I started doing thought work and mindset coaching is that we are all so independent and we're having an independent experience, right? And your broker, he is having an experience right now and you're choosing to do something different. It really is like he could have all sorts of different thoughts about it. He could think like, oh, that's so good for you. What if he thinks, oh, that takes one more person off my plate? Or what if he thinks I was going to retire anyway? Or what if he thinks I was going to sell the place anyway? Good for her. Or what if he just doesn't even care?
Yeah.
But our brain loves to go to the thing that's kind of the most painful sometimes, which is I can't because it's going to hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
So the step to get past that is to first just realize that that's just one kind of automatic negative thought that your brain has come up with. And what else could be true about the situation?
Yeah. Okay, that helps.
Yeah. And of course you don't want him to feel bad. So that's a very natural like response is like, oh, you don't want to make things harder on him, but it's not necessarily going to be harder. That's just what we go to. That's
Mhm.
our first inclination. That's our first thought. Okay. And you need to do what's good for you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you are very clear, right? You have really great clarity on what is good for you and what you need to do and why you need to do it.
Yeah.
And just to give you like slight permission, which you don't need my permission, but
Uh-huh.
when agents come to me and they want a brokerage hop and I ask them why, they sometimes will give me, I have this problem, this broker's not solving it, I'm going to go to this other one because this is going to solve my problem. And I did not hear anything from you regarding that. Your description and explanation of why you wanted to change brokerages seems like a very like clear and sane decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
not like you're running from something.
No, I'm definitely not running, and it's just it just fits where I'm planning to go better.
Perfect. And you can change brokerages and still respect and love your past broker.
Mhm.
And you can still have compassion for him because he's having a tough time.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not separate. It's all the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a counselor too.
Oh, so it's interesting. People ask, what's the difference between coaching and counseling? Because I've been to counseling for a lot of years, and I will tell you the difference between coaching and counseling is because I know I'm not a counselor.
Yeah, I know, I'm joking.
But counseling really works a lot on what's happened in the past. And that's the one thing I realized, like going to lots of years of counseling, right? It's always dealing with our past traumas and like trying to find out why we're doing something that we're doing, possibly. And so in counseling is amazing. And I get some people that come to me for coaching and I'm like, great, we're going to coach you, but you also need to have a counselor at the same time because there may be some past trauma or something that they need to work through or deal with. Coaching is the moving forward part. And that's the part I was missing in counseling. Was like, okay, I understand all this happened, but how do you like move forward in that positive way? How do we look at things from a different perspective and like what else can be true? Right. And then having some skills and new emotional skills, honestly, to be able to have a happier life, like be
Yeah.
able to process emotions so much better. So that's more of what when we do like more mindset coaching, it really has to do with the future, which is awesome. Yeah.
All
So
right, great. Thank you.
you're welcome. Good question. It's a really good question because we all end up like that sometimes, worried about other people's feelings. Okay, who else would like to ask a coach anything? So we have the spectrum today. Anybody can raise your hand or you can.
I have a question.
All right. Hello, Julia.
Hi, so I am a brand new agent.
Okay.
And I still have a full-time job because I'm trying to, I can't leave my job until I you know what I mean. So what will be your advice for me?
Okay. So let me illustrate something. And this is really important. Okay. So the journey, let me move my mic over a little bit. The journey of a transition between two jobs, there's something that we don't recognize when we're trying to do this transition. And this is where agents tend to get frustrated. Okay. Is a couple things. So let's say right now you are working. So this is going to be your real estate business. Okay. And then what's your other job? Oh, you're muted. It remuted. Go ahead and unmute.
Sorry. High school assistant principal.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. You need an award. And I think did I say that? Yep. Principal. They're your pal. I remember that. Okay. So right now, this is kind of illustrative of your effort. Okay. And right now you have so much of your time and effort. And I'm not just saying effort like it's a choice, but literally like you have this much time and effort that you're putting toward your high school assistant principal job, right? Then you've introduced real estate. So it's kind of like worked its way in and you have about 20% that you can be able to apply of your time to that. Okay. So when we start to double down in our business, which is what you want to do in real estate so that you can make more money so you can leave the high school,
Yep.
Okay, this is what happens. So this is what our double down looks like. We got 40% here, but that takes us to 60% here. Okay. This is where we tend to get stuck. Right about here, because our capacity. And then we will get frustrated because we believe we should be able to double down, like put more effort into the real estate business to make it work. But yet we're not willing to take. So over here, we're trying to double again. So we're trying to get to 80% on this side and double down, but yet we can't give this up. And those numbers don't match. Right? So there will be some point where you're going to have to, which I know you can't really go to 20% in your principal job, right? There's going to be some point where you're going to have to jump ship and have a lot, what I call faith in the thing that you're doing. Okay. So just think about that, because this is kind of like the messy middle where you get, this is a little bit where Juan is, right? It's like, I'm selling 27 houses. Like I'm trying to double down, but yet in order to double down, we have to add new systems and processes. Like we have to do something more, right, in our business.
Can I give a little bit of input, since I made the transition last year for full time,
Okay.
and I've been doing it for 7 years. So my guess whatever to advice would be, you do it and try to act like you are full time in real estate as much as you can anyway. Save up as much as you can. Make a whole bunch of networking and meetups and connections, because of course real estate is all about relationships, and show the things that you're doing on your social media and your posts and everything, so you can build that credibility. And then I think that you get to the point where you saved up enough where it's, whether you're comfortable at 1 year's worth of savings or 2 years, whatever it is, 6, 9 months, whatever, to where you don't have commission breath when you go full time, and now you're nervous. You want to be yourself. And so my wife is also an engineer, and she never wanted me to leave, because I was like doing about 18 to 20 a year, which was still good part time, right? And she never wanted me to leave, but it was that point where I started getting so busy to where I had enough savings, I had built enough relationships, I had built enough credibility and reviews on the Googles, the Zillows, and all that, because people will, yes, and the first thing is they have to like, trust, and know you, but also you have to show that you know what you're doing, but also they're going to still look you up online, no matter if they're your friend or not. So if you build that base behind it while you're part-time, it'll be a lot easier of a transition and scale once you go full-time, in my opinion.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah. So that's kind of where you're in this 20%. It's that building, right? Building the business, starting to build the base, get your name out there. So so I went crazy, and I was like, I'm quitting my job, honey. And we didn't have all the savings, and it made me work really hard and really fast to figure out how I was supposed to do my job so I could make money. But I also wasn't replacing a huge income. I had I was making like $12,000 a year in my job. So it was, not much of anything. So, it wasn't as big of a transition. When you're making good money already, making that transition gets hard. So, that's going to look though, like, number one, you're going to have to be very attached to why you're doing this, because doing the 2 different jobs is hard. Yeah. And it's going to take a lot of time and energy, and it's going to take some extra time and energy. So you also have to look forward to how long are you willing to do both? And what does that look like for you? So have you discovered that? Have you gone through what those goals are?
Well, again, I'm a brand new agent, so I'm still trying to, I'm very organized. I have in the past, because I'm a single mom, I have in the past had 2 jobs or 3 jobs, so I know how to do it. I've been reading a lot of books on, how to organize your time better, how to save time. So I feel that I'm doing well, but just, I wanted to ask you and see how, if you have had anything else to
Anything
say.
else to do? Yeah. I mean, the best thing I can ever tell anybody is know what your goal is and know your numbers for what you need to get to in order to be able to exit what you're doing. And I always love to go in with an exit of, having 3 to 6 months worth of savings. 6 months is great. Really 3, it could still be dry in 3 months. So really it's a good 6 months worth of bills, money saved, so that if you didn't have a closing for 6 months, you could still feed your family. And I think that's probably my greatest advice I could give you for making a transition. I love brand new agents, by the way. And I'll tell you why. I don't have to break their bad habits usually when I teach them. Because sometimes if we've been an agent for a long time, we can be resistant to new ideas and things. But anyway, if you need help, if you're like, okay, how am I going to get to the goal faster? Yeah, that's what I teach inside my academy. That's why I do that. Single moms are actually my sister's a single mom too. And we took her from making, gosh, $15, $17 an hour working as a for Allstate as an agent. And she was working 40 hours a week, and she had to, Uber Eats her food to her kids because her schedule sucked. And I mean, it was just not a fun single mom life. And she made over $100,000 her first year. And I had her take the plunge, man. Like I was like, let's do this thing. And I supported her for a couple months to help her out, and she made it work. So it's just, what are your goals? How attached? And what's your why? Because really that's what drives you, is why do you want to transition jobs? Do you know? Like, what's your big why?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like, and I can share this with you. So I feel that in education you can work super hard, because I am a very hard worker.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna say I even have a PhD, and I'm, but you are not the one moving up. It's other people. So when I saw that happen again and again, I said, no, I'm gonna go to a place where my hard work is gonna show. If I work hard, I'm gonna see the results.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to make that transition.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, and that is something you can control in this job. That's what's so amazing about it. You can work as little or as much and make as little or as much as you want. So that's awesome. Okay.
Thank
You're welcome. Yeah, yeah. All right. Who else has a question?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, Leanne. Leanne.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was an agent. I've just moved to a new location, a new state across, so I don't have a big sphere. I'm out actually canvassing this morning. What's everybody's biggest ROI on lead generation?
Okay. I love the lead generation questions. So I want to reframe something for you. Okay.
Mhm.
So I hate the phrase SOI. And that's why I don't like it. Because we're like, when I started in this business too, I moved to a new area. So I feel for you there. And I didn't have a lot of sphere, as you would call it. Right. And so then I was always encouraged to go mail all of the people that were in my sphere, which lived like 30 minutes from me. It wasn't like I was really far away, but I've never sold a house to any one of those. I think maybe one in my whole sphere, quote unquote sphere. And so I've recoined the phrase to associations, because everyone can create associations, right? And that's our reach. That's the reach that we have. Now, when it comes to lead sources, and you're saying like, what's going to be your best, what's going to get you there fastest?
Yeah.
Is that your question? Okay. So it's different for the different areas, and it's multiple sources. So there is not one source. So it's starting to implement multiple sources. So one of the things that I do is I implement every free lead source that's out there. So there's a lot of places that you can sign up for free lead sources. And I say free because you don't pay upfront fees. And this would be good as well for Julia, but you sign up for those, it's good for everybody. You pay a referral fee on the back end, but there's zero upfront costs. So you have zero investment, right? So I signed up for every single one of those. Then you start to add another. So that's one thing that you do. And once you sign up for it once, you're done, right? And then you just get those leads come in. There's some tricks to that as well. But then it's like, okay, you're canvassing the neighborhood. What's the purpose? What are you doing?
To get my face known, to talk to people.
Okay. And what do you like? You knock on a door? Is that what you're doing?
No, because I feel that people don't like that. I'm just saying hello to them. hello to the neighbors, meeting them, getting my face known. Yeah, and then if people are talking, I'm talking to them.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you're trying
But
to,
I'm combining it because I wasn't getting exercise, so I'm doing it for an hour every morning to get my morning walk in and to get some hopefully meet some people. Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so there's a couple different things, like when you're going to go out then, and you're going to meet people, I'm always
Mhm.
prepared, like my market mastery, understanding exactly what's going on in the market right now, what the average days on market is, how many homes are on the market, what the average price point is that's moving quickly, what price point is moving slowly, like what the interest rates are doing, understanding all that information. I always have that in my back pocket, because then
Yeah.
when you do meet somebody, you sound fully educated and you sound
Mhm.
so smart, and that's the value that you're providing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so having that, and
Mhm.
then if you are doing any sort of advertising lead generation, I would just encourage you, you need to have a call to action for the
Yeah.
person that you're advertising to. So what I see a lot of times is somebody spends the money, sends out a mailer, says, hey, I'm your neighborhood real estate agent. And I'm like, great, that's branding, but
Yeah.
there's no call to action in that. So then don't get frustrated when you don't get business from that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so if we're going to do something and we want to move the needle faster, we want to create some form of advertising that has a call to action. So whether
Yeah.
it's, sign up to get the value of your house so that you can get their contact information. Are you interested in selling? I don't love the are you interested in selling
Yeah.
question, because if we go with if you're interested in the value of your home, like you can, get an automated value right now and then get
Mhm.
them on your home bot list, let's say. Now you have their contact information. Now you can watch them to see if they're opening the emails. Then you have a way to follow up with them. It's a lot more
Yeah.
purposeful follow up.
Yeah, I have a value of home, but I don't have home bot. But that is a good idea.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
I want to sell 10 houses.
Okay, but how do you want to sell those 10 houses?
Um,
Selling 10 houses is the goal.
mhm.
What's the activity that you would like to do to get you to that goal? What do you enjoy?
So what do I enjoy? So I'm a mum of 4, so I've joined a lot of mothers groups. I'm out walking. I'm doing wine and wealth at my brokerage, women wine and wealth at my brokerage. Yeah, social media. But yeah, I'm just panicking because I haven't got a sphere here, and just how quick it will take.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I didn't have a sphere, when we don't have a sphere, I go find the people who raised their hand that said, hey, I want to sell my house.
Yeah.
And those people that raise their hand that want to sell their house are your for sale by owners. They're your expired listings that maybe didn't have a good agent.
Okay.
I start to go take all that market information and data that I just explained to you that I have in my back pocket. I take and apply that to their listings and say, okay, why haven't they sold? What price are they offering this for? What does their description look like? What do their photos look like? How can I help them? And I
Okay.
start to look for people to help that need and want my help.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I didn't. Yeah, never thought about doing a sale by owners because yeah, I just thought they were hard to reach, or not hard to reach, but hard to convert.
Yeah. So we had a guy, if you go back and listen to a podcast episode, gosh, just like 2 episodes ago, where there was a for sale by owner, and we did a little prep work, and Alejandro, I think was his name, and he went and he called them and he provided some valuable information, like we just talked about, to this for sale by owner, completely landed the list. And then also asked how many people had contacted him. He'd had only 3 phone calls the for sale by owner had, and no one had provided the valuable information to him. Nobody said, this is why you're struggling. This is why the house is still on the market, or this is what you're supposed to expect, or this is what the buyer behavior is, or this is what the sellers are having to do in order to sell properties. Are the prices up? Are they down? Are they, like, understanding that? So I think that what we're not prepared for as agents, you guys, is our brokerages want to give us a task list of like, go call 10 people or
Yeah.
call 100 people and 10 people will say yes, or whatever that might be, right? But nobody says, what are we going to say to them when we call them? Like, besides, would you like to list your house with an agent? Which there's no value add in that. And
No,
we,
if I wanted to do that, I wouldn't have put it for sale by owner.
yes, exactly, exactly. So why are you different? Understanding your value proposition for why are you valuable to this person? And once you can recognize that, doesn't matter if you have a sphere, your associations, the people that you start to run into, you're going to radiate what value you have. You're going to start to share that information. You're going to feel very confident when you share the information. And that converts people because it makes them feel warm and fuzzy and comfortable. And it makes them feel like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, very helpful. I've put off that, but thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. We got some fun. We got so many different topics today. I love this. Okay, who's next? Got a good group in here. I love it. Okay, Margaret, you're up. Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, so my question is going back to connect with past clients. So that sounds like it should be something easy, I guess, but for me, I struggle with connecting with them when I haven't connected with them, and especially those clients who I haven't connected with. Some of my past clients I stayed in contact with over the years. Some I became friends with. Many of them I've helped 2 and 3 times,
Right.
but many of them I help them buy or sell, and other
Left.
than them, my newsletter or, whatever else I may be sending out over the years, I haven't contacted them.
Okay, so I have a very easy solution for you. Would you like it? Okay.
Of course.
Okay. So here's the thing with our past. So you're just talking people that you've already closed. You're not talking about leads. You're talking about your past clientele, correct?
I'm talking about people who I've actually done business with. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So yes, this is definitely my wheelhouse. So I figured something out that's so amazing and so simple and so effective. And this is how I'm at 95% referral and repeat business when I'm still selling 100 houses a year. It's amazing. Okay. So it's my 3-2-1-12 follow-up plan. And I'll give you like a really fast overview, but I'm not going to beat the dead horse here because it's been on other podcast episodes. So 3-2-1-12 means I send 3 gifts a year. 2 are branded. 1 is not branded. Okay. That's how I keep in touch with my past clients. So I send them fun things. I send them, where is it? Oh, hold on. I'll show you just a second. You bend down, like phone stands, like this little phone stand, and it's branded with my contact information. I sent aprons. And branded, but I sent some fun stuff, orange peelers, and I come up with some clever card to create with it, or AKA I have my mother come up with a creative card because I'm not creative. Anyway, she has an Etsy shop where she puts them for us. And so I send those out 3 times a year. And the third, or the one that's not branded is always my Christmas. Because nobody wants something branded at Christmas. They don't need your business cards. They don't need to know who you work for. They just need to feel your love. So that's my 3-2-1 part. My 12 part is I get them on HomeBot. They get an email from me once a month with the value of their property, with what their mortgage is, with what the interest rates are doing. It has all of the value add information necessary. It's the best program ever. I started using it 2 years ago when it came out. Best program ever. Homebot.ai, no affiliation. They should probably pay me because I tell everyone to use it. But it keeps your clients no matter where they live. Now, here's the trick. I have clients that move out of state. They still get gifts from me. They still go on HomeBot. I get their new address. They remain on there because what about if they're going to move back to the area, or they're connected with other people on Facebook and somebody says they need a realtor? It keeps you in front of them all the time. but it's with great value. And everybody loves a gift. And everybody loves, like my open rate for my HomeBot is about 87%. Normal open rates, just so you know, for emails run in the 30 to 35% range. So people love it. And I've had clients, I just had one that I closed, that I sold them the house 5 years ago, have not spoken to him since. He lives in the town over from me, like hadn't talked to him at all. But it was time to move, and he called me. Like I don't lose the clients that way. So that is like, if you want to go spend, what I think I charge $39 for that playbook, it will give you all the links and kind of go more in depth. If you go into my agentleader.com, that's the one thing I would invest in. If you do not have a follow-up plan, great follow-up plan.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, what the national average, you guys, is like 37% repeat and referral business. Like, where's the other 72? Is that right? Can I count? 62%? Whatever. Like 63? Is that 63%? Like, where's the rest of the clientele going? Right? Because they are in. One of the reasons why I came up with that program for myself was because personally, we had bought a house. And 18 months later, we went to go sell it. I couldn't remember the name of my agent. And I was, yeah, I mean, I was like 25, 27, maybe when I was selling that one. But it's like, if I would have remembered their name, I could have looked him up on my phone and called him. I couldn't even remember their name because it was like the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It was like, here, let me sell the house. You guys are an easy sell. Let me take the paycheck and run. And that puts us in that cycle of always having to look for new business. And I don't know about you, but if I go to my dentist gets full with clients, with patients, because they're not always looking for a new dentist, right? But somehow in real estate, we're not taught to build a business like a true business, to where we're servicing these clients and we continue to service the clients. So no matter what their needs are, no matter how many times they need to come back, I've sold houses to people 4 or 5 times over because I'm their person, right? I'm their person. So you have to implement great follow-up. They don't want a magazine. They don't want a postcard. If you wouldn't want it, they wouldn't want it either. So as fancy as that sounds, to put your face on a magazine and send it to them, they're going to throw in the garbage. Nobody wants it. Doesn't make them feel good. It makes you feel good about yourself. So what makes them feel good? Chocolates make them feel good. That's what my clients get for Christmas is chocolates. Okay. Who else has a question? You guys are getting all the gold today. All right.
I have a quick question about HomeBot. Can you get them on email? Like if how do you get them on email if they're not your client? Can you get them to sort of subscribe to it from a postcard, from social media?
Yep. So HomeBot, when you have your account, has a seller landing page, sorry. But it has the home value landing page that's specific to you. So you can create a QR code out of that. So any type of advertising that you're going to do, you can be able to put that QR code on there to have people sign up to get their value. So you can do that. So that's a method. The other method, so when we're talking about trying to find sellers right now, the more people you have on HomeBot, the more you can see, like, are they opening their email, right? We go see what their open rates are. So step 1 is going to be, we get all the people on HomeBot, not all of them, but get people on HomeBot. Step 2 is we see who's opening the email. And then step 3 is when we sit down on Monday or Tuesday and we're wondering what kind of follow-up we should do or where we should spend our time, we're going to go look at all the people that have been most engaged in the platform. And you're going to send them an email to say, hey, do you have any questions? Like, are you enjoying the program? Are you enjoying the platform? Do you have any questions about your value? That's when we start to really engage with the client so that we can see. Then if they're like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about selling, and so that's why I've logged in 8 times or whatever it might be, that's going to start to rise that cream to the top to where we have somebody who pulls the trigger and is ready to sell. So that's one of the ways you do that with sellers with HomeBot, and you do the same thing with buyers when you put a buyer on a search. So I only have 2 follow-up systems, you guys. That's exactly how, when I talk to you, Juan, about like, what does our follow-up look like, but what do our systems and processes look like? I got two options. You got two options with me. You're not going to get junk email because you're either buyer or you're a seller. You're one or the other. You're going to go in one of two buckets. And then this is what my follow-up looks like with those two buckets. That's pretty simple. So can you just add them to HomeBot? You have to have you should have their permission. So what I did when I very first took my entire client list and I was uploading it to HomeBot, is the first thing I did was send out an email from my email, my personal email or my work email, to my clients. And I gave them a screenshot of what HomeBot looked like. So I attached a little photo, and I have this whole write-up, which is inside my follow-up playbook. I have the Word document that you can be able to go tweak. And it really gives some like high points, but also very important in there, says this is not an accurate value, because it's not. So we don't want them to think we're setting up the expectation, right? We don't want them to think that this value is like gospel. We want them to understand this is an estimate, and it also will show you what the market trends are, up, down, sideways, right? If you want to know your true value, just reply to the email and I will get that for you. Easy peasy. And so now and then I say, if you don't want this email, reply back and I will take you off my list, right? I will not put you on the list. Other than that, I did upload everyone and then they got the email. I think I only had like 2 people that replied and said, no, I don't want my data information out there, blah, blah, blah. Everybody else did. And I will tell you, I've got a transaction string right now that's going to profit us about $50,000 in commissions. And it all started with one person that I had on HomeBot and I had on my follow-up program, who, when I closed their house 6 years ago, they hated me. Like, they were a tough customer. And it's probably the only customer that over the years, I've literally thought I should just take them off my list and stop sending them stuff, because they're never going to use me again. And sure enough, 7 years worth of goodies and HomeBot emails, they start replying to the HomeBot emails. And they have for the last about 6-7 months. They kind of every now and then reply to the HomeBot email and ask me, would you check my value? There's a little button they can click that says, can you confirm my value? Or something like that. So I'd get that, come straight to my email. If I hit reply, it goes straight back to them, real easy. And then I can check in with them. And anyway, ended up listing their house, double ending that, blah, 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 helping them buy. And I thought I'd never have them come back to me ever. So it's a testament to like, it really does work well. So random people, if you have their emails, ask their permission first, but you have great value that you can be able to provide, and set yourself up on HomeBot so you understand what that value is. That's important too. You need to see what it looks like when it comes, just once a month. It doesn't come on the first of the month, it staggers. So they're just going to get it once a month. Good question. All right, what else do we got? Anything else today?
What was that list you said about the ones that are free that you pay referral fee on the close in? Do you have a list?
Yeah, if you go to agentleader.com, I have some free resources, and I taught a class on the top 15 lead sources. And you can get that for free.
Okay, so there's actual just a list to download, or?
Yeah, yep, it'll give you a PDF, and then I go through in that class. I actually teach you a little bit about each of them and how to capitalize on each of them. Yeah. And that I reteach that class every year. So beginning of January, I will teach best lead sources for 2024, because we've added some new ones that aren't on that list, and some of them change. So, you know, OpCity changed their platform, Ojo changed their platform. So, and then we've added some new ones in. I test everything. So if something comes across my desk, I'll take the garbage phone calls when they're like, hey, would you like leads? You guys love those phone calls. And I'm like, sure, tell me about your program. And then I'll find out and I'll test it. I'll spend money if I need to test it out, to see if it's something that's worthy of everybody's time and energy. And so then they, you know, some of them make the list, and some of them I'm like, yeah, steer clear. Don't use these things because it's a waste of time and money.
So you have the list that you said that is basically approved, but do you have a list of like, don't bother?
Yeah, both of them. I go through. Yes, I talk about all of them in there. Yeah, so it's called the top 15 lead sources, but I talk about what not to use as well. So
And how do we get to be on the classes? How do we get to sign up for those classes?
for which classes?
I think I missed it because I think I came in here late and I think I just
That's all right. So
heard it in the end.
yeah, so there's a couple options. There's a couple options to work with me. So I always have some free resources out there, but you know, if free only gets you so far, right? I mean, it's helpful, but it only gets you so far. So it just depends on what your goals are in your business. I have actually right now, I have if you go to agentleader.com/high impact, and it might be high dash impact, you can get my top 20 lead generation methods. I just barely put this out. It's actually not even up on my site yet. $97. And that actually will teach you the top 20 things that I do in my business to generate leads. So that's gold.
Okay, so you said agentleader.com.
Yep. /high dash impact. Maybe no dash. All lowercase. You got to be lowercase. So there's that. And I can send an email out with that information today too. But if you really are serious about increasing your business and improving and really getting some coaching, you have the best option in working with me is $279 a month. And it's 12 payments, and then you're in for life. So right now you can either pay a one-time $3,000 fee upfront or 12 monthly payments of $279, and that gets you all of my trainings. That gets you my foundational like business plan, get you that. So all my systems and processes, teaches you essentially everything to do in your job. This is what I call the street smarts of business, of real estate. So you receive that, and then we do weekly coaching. So we'll have something new topic every single Wednesday. I coach live, and then you get to be able to get coached that day as well. And you also have group learning. So we put you in groups so that you can be able to learn from others in the group, get some support, find out some new ideas, because I am not the holder of all the information. I've got some amazing agents inside my academy that have great ideas that other people can now adopt because we're all around the United States. So it's like the problem that I've had with real estate training in general, or in the office training, is they're not really going to tell you everything to do because they don't want you to exceed them, right? Like they're going to give you a mentor, and the mentor is going to be like, here's how you don't get sued, and here's how you kind of do your job. And then they're going to leave you because they don't want you to be better than they are. There's fear for people for that. I want you to be better than me. I want you to be absolutely amazing and make all the money. I want you to support your families. Like I want you to have a thriving business. That's why I coach. And that's why I put together all of the curriculum that I have. And Angie, thank you very much, said in the comments, she highly recommends getting into the entire program. It's hugely impactful. Angie's one of our newer agents in the academy. So that's my Agent Leader Academy. So you can just go to agentleader.com. You can be able to click on that. Easy to find, and it gives you a breakdown of all the information. But that's how I can help you best, is inside the academy. Yeah. Awesome. What was the info you got from your title company? Oh, so when I asked my title company for information, I coined it a PPR, but it's just a property profile report. Essentially, it's your tax records, it's the square footage of the house, it's all the property information. So if you're a lawyer state, like some of the title companies interact with you a little differently. So you just need to find out, where do I go to get this information? And is there a resource of a person, a customer service person, who would provide that to me? In our state, I'm in Idaho, the title companies all like vie for your business. So they want to provide great service to you. So they're willing to send you information. They have customer service people that look stuff up. They give you the deed on record so that you know who actually owns the house. You got to have that. And then I just take all that information, I put it in a folder. I get free folders from my title company, which is great. And then I have my information there. Good questions. Anybody else have more questions today? This has been a fun session. I love it. Sometimes I'm like ripping people apart to try to get you to ask a question.
Lisa,
Yes.
with the Agent Leader Academy, do you help us with putting these systems in place and things like that you were talking about earlier on?
Yes. Yes. So
Like, I know there's group coaching, but sometimes with group coaching, the actual information you get is kind of basic and limited.
yeah, it's not basic and limited. So you get everything. And if you have a question about implementation, I am here for you. I over deliver. Honestly, I'm told a lot like, wow, you should charge like $10,000 for what you do. So it's a customized program. So here's the thing about the Academy that's different than any other real estate training that you're going to get is when you come into the Academy, we have a one-on-one session. And that one-on-one session helps me to understand where you're at in your business. We're going to get you some kind of faster wins, but also set you up on your own learning journey, because you may not need to go through certain trainings, but you may really need to go through these other certain trainings. So I have a vault of so many trainings, it can be completely overwhelming. I don't look at them as mandatory. They are tools. So where are you at in your business? How long have you been in business? What are your goals? What are your struggles? Like, we dive in and have a coaching session with you so I can put you on the path that's going to best help you to get there. And then you always we have a community group chat. Any questions you have, anything, like I am there, ask Angie, like I'm there. You need something, you have a question, struggle, whatever, like I am there for you. I want you to be successful. So it's full support when it comes to that. Yeah, good question. I forget to tell people that. Okay, perfect. Good session today, you guys. Thank you for being willing to share. And you can always catch all the replays on the podcast. And I will see you again soon. And hopefully we see you inside the Academy.
Hey, are you a realtor and are you struggling right now to sustain consistent flow of business in the marketplace? I'm on a mission to help realtors thrive no matter the circumstances of the market. You can join me this Thursday for Ask a Coach, where you can come and have your questions answered by a high-performing realtor, high-performing coach, and a certified life coach. I can be able to help you dig in and find your superpower so that you are able to thrive in this market and not just survive. I'll see you on Thursday. Click the link below.